This is where the fun begins.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me. Do it. Punch it!
Hey guys, it's Joe here, and I have today's ground rules. Rule 1. Must be an original movie that happens after the events of Return of the Jedi. 2. Must include one character from the Skywalker saga. 3. No usage of sequel characters or storylines. And 4. No mega weapons, Death Star, Starkiller Base, etc. Besides these rules, the gloves are off. It's time to see which of the guys has the better story. 2 competitors, 1 winner. Welcome to episode 2 of Ground Rules.
With the destruction of the Death Star and the definitive death of Emperor Palpatine, chaos emerged from the ashes of the Empire. As the Jedi slowly rebuild, the symbols of peace in the galaxy are too weak to maintain order. The New Republic struggles to withhold their grasp on the galaxy. Once small cartels quickly began to grow and rise to power over the next 40 years, and war and turmoil ensued for territory and resources all across the galaxy, a time known as the Cartel Wars. With no end to the bloodshed in sight, an accord among the underground was made. Secrets of smuggling routes, resource nodes, and criminal organization trade routes were shared among the cartels to broker peace, as each suffered incredible losses by the other hands. This information was crucial to the New Republic's plan to reaffirm control, so a sleeper agent, a coroner named Talis, was sent to infiltrate deeper into enemy territory to extract it. She was successful, but not without alerting each of the cartels to what was stolen, and forced to go into hiding. The 5 major cartels elected a single representative champion to participate in a tournament to hunt down and reclaim what was stolen. The winning cartel family absorbs the other cartels to form a massive shadow organization able to stand uncontested as a galactic superpower. For the first time since the days of the Old Republic, the Great Hunt has returned. The New Republic, having caught wind of the implications of this contest, elected a champion of their own, Corporal Gil Madden, a decorated war hero, to be sent to Talis' location hiding out deep within enemy lines and bring her and the information she carries back to the capital, Hacian Prime. We then cut to Arvo's ship, a young but distinguished pilot nervously riding an elevator. It reaches the top floor where it opens and General Lando Calrissian enters. He hands Arvo a file and explains to him the job. He was chosen by name by Corporal Madden to be his pilot. To journey to Corellia, the last known location of Talis, deep within the Hawk Cartel territory. The general then leaves the elevator at the next stop, leaving Arvo alone as he journeys down to the docking bay. At Arvo's ship, cleaning his blasters, is Corporal Madden, a man in his 40s, and they begin to set off on the journey to Corellia. En route, Arvo inquires why he was asked by name, in which Corporal Madden responds that he fought with his father in the beginning years of the Cartel War, that he was a respectable man, a great pilot, and a hero on the day that he died. Corporal Madden had heard that Arvo rivaled his father in skill despite being so young, making him perfect for the job. Arvo was shocked to hear that his father had fought with the great Gil Madden, someone he had looked up to in his early days in the academy, and asked Corporal Madden to tell him more stories about his father and the Cartel Wars for the rest of their journey until they arrive at Corellia. Upon arrival, they travel to the rainy and busy city where Corporal Madden heads towards a cantina to rendezvous with a New Republic contact and old war buddy in the area, a Rhodian named Hulu Tensu. He tells them that Talos is located in a secret safe house nearby and gives them a strange token used to confirm identity. Once they reach the safe house, they give the coin to the greeter and into a musky complex full of armed guards. They are directed through a maze of corridors leading to a communications room where a young Quarren woman is conversing with a few of the guards. Once she is done conversing, she turns, makes eye contact with Arvo, and approaches. She is noticeably nervous and explains that the Hutt cartel have eyes everywhere in Corellia and that their arrival would have drawn the attention of the bounty hunters, so they must move quickly and discreetly. They disguise themselves as a couple of locals and make their escape through a secret exit of the building into the city proper. As the journey back to the ship commences, Corporal Madden grows more and more suspicious of the locals, as many of them are making intense eye contact. He readies his blaster and begins to pick up the pace to move back to the ship as quickly as possible. A shower of blaster fire then erupts into the crowd, everyone immediately either diving into cover or being gunned down in the process. Corporal Maiden and Talos immediately begin to return fire as two heavily armed individuals emerge from the scattering city folk. Corporal Madden commands Arvo and Talos to run back to the ship as he engages the two combatants. Quickly tosses smoke grenades to cover their escape and provides covering fire as the two bounty hunters duck behind cover along the city streets. Corporal Madden charges the two combatants and enters in melee combat. Arvo and Talos reach the ship and are prepared to take off as soon as Corporal Madden returns. However, they are forced to take off prematurely as incoming fire rains down from the sky. Bright green starship Cruiser passes overhead and begins to turn around for another strafing run. Arvo is able to flip the shields up and get the ship airborne in order to engage in a dogfight. A battle in the air ensues, as Arvo is able to maneuver masterfully any attacks from the enemy, as well as put Talos in positions where she's able to lay down fire to do some serious damage. Talos is able to hit the engine block, and the thrusters give out on the enemy cruiser as it crashes to the earth below. Arvo quickly scans the area for any sign of Captain Madden. After a few moments, he spots him still engaged in melee combat with the two bounty hunters. Arvo quickly circles back, giving time Talos to run to the armory to grab a blaster rifle to minimize collateral damage. The main door to the ship opens, and Talos takes aim, clipping one of the bounty hunters in the leg, immobilizing him just enough for Corporal Madden to finish the two off quickly and escape. With all threats now neutralized, and the information safely at hand on board, they begin their escape of the planet of Corellia. Corporal Madden goes to the captain's quarters, thanks them both for helping him out, and breathes a sigh of relief of a job well done. Suddenly, a jet black cruiser appears in Arvo's periphery, and without warning, an explosive impact breaches the side of the ship, and they begin to lose altitude. The engines have failed, control is lost, and the ship is spinning violently. Arvo is hitting every button, flipping every switch he can to regain power, but is unsuccessful, as his ship heads sideways and swipes the metal wall and plummets into the earth below. Arvo loses consciousness on impact. He awakes to the fiery wreck of his former ship, his right leg numb and pinned firmly under the broken command console. He frantically looks for any signs of Corporal Madden or Talos. His vision is blurry and obstructed, but he's able to make out two figures in the distance. One, looking incredibly injured, lying against rubble, the other slowly emerging from the dark cruiser a short distance away. Some words are exchanged as the figure approaches and stands over the other. Suddenly, a bright red beam extends from the arm of the standing figure, humming as the rain hits it. The standing figure bends down and plunges the crimson blade into the chest of the figure below. Arvo's vision clears. He sees Corporal Madden lying on the ground as the dark cloaked figure methodically walks towards a different part of the wreckage. Arvo's eyes track, horrified, as he then sees Talos crawling away, trying to escape. The dark figure steps on the back of her knee, pinning her in place, and stabs her deep in the back. The red beam recoils back into its hilt, and the dark figure walks slowly into a nearby ship and flies off into the distance. With the dark figure gone, Arvo desperately tries to free himself with no luck. He starts to grunt, first in pain, then in frustration. Anger, resentment, fear begin to fill his mind for being too weak, for letting the ship crash, for having his leg pinned. He lets out an animalistic scream and the console begins to loosen, almost on its own, enough to finally get his leg free. Arvo then limps and stumbles over the Talos, who is lifeless. Arvo buries his face in his hands and begins to cry. He then makes his way over to Corporal Madden, now crying uncontrollably, trying to shake him awake despite the charred hole in his chest. His gaze slowly drifts right, seeing Corporal Madden's bloodied helmet in the mud. He reaches for it, as anger begins to overtake him. The great hunt is over, but now the true hunt begins.
It has been a year since the Empire and Darth Vader have fallen into the hands of the rebellion, and stormtroopers are leaving in masses. They're abandoning their posts, banding together, trying to use the chaos to their advantage as they do their best to rejoin the lives that were taken from them. The dark side are hunting them down like dogs, using their most dangerous men to kill these traitors, and worse, make an example out of the ones that are caught alive, rebelling from their empire. Our film opens on a squad of rebellious stormtroopers who have defected from the Empire, each with their own unique armor, personalized to their own unique personality, being fired upon. They are panicking frantically as the Empire is firing upon them without mercy. Just then, the lights go out, and the ship feels a thick thud as another pod has collided with it. They ready themselves as they know the Empire's ways and an intruder is on board the ship. Just then, a red lightsaber goes off, and we see Darth Maul. Darth Maul has entered the ship and begins tearing apart the rogue stormtroopers relentlessly without mercy. His lightsaber cuts through them like butter as the captain of the rogue stormtroopers does his best to engage the escape pod for his men to escape. But this isn't a regular Darth Maul. Since he was cut in half, he is made bionic with metal legs, almost like a spider, as he crawls through the hallways, mercilessly tearing people to shreds. Just as he's about to hit the control room, the captain engages the escape pod, hurtling 12 of his best men down to the nearest planet. He sacrifices himself and the rest of his crew to slow down the Sith, but this doesn't work on the new cyborg, as he is stronger and more determined than ever to finish his mission and prove himself to the dark side. Upon surviving the impact of their ship colliding with this new planet, the stormtroopers explore to see a wooded terrain. However, they are soon ambushed by a group of Wookiees. There is a short battle between the Wookiees and stormtroopers, and even with their primitive technology, these beasts are able to overwhelm the stormtroopers, taking out a few of them, as the stormtroopers are forced to retrograde to a safe rally point where their squad leader conducts a head count to see there's only 7 left. The second act of this movie consists of the stormtroopers having to survive in this alien foreign world, where they have to survive not only from the attacks of the Wookiees, but the pursuing Darth Maul and then some of the alien monsters and beasts that roam these lands. We get to know these stormtroopers and the past that they came from. Some of them have families, parents, wives, sons, and daughters. Some of them were criminals who this was their only option. But all of them feel guilt for their actions, for what they did in the name of the Empire, and their shared trauma brings them together. I would use this middle section of the movie to really explore that, things that we could have gotten with the character of Finn in the new trilogy, but didn't. A missed opportunity. I definitely think this would be a unique and interesting take on characters that we haven't seen. We learn about these characters and the struggles that they go through. After these slower character moments, we would have another adventure scene where the stormtroopers are attacked by one of the alien beasts that roam the lands, chasing them right into the clutches of Darth Maul, who chases them through the forest using his bionic spider-like legs. The stormtroopers are able to escape using a waterfall that, although it gets them away from Darth Maul, only brings them into the territory of the Wookiees. They're able to make a deal with the Wookiees, explaining that the Empire is here and will take their land and kill them all, so they decide to work together in a third and final act that has the Wookiee army being led by the stormtroopers who know the faults in the Empire's defenses, attacking against an Empire droid and stormtrooper force led by Darth Maul. This would be a giant battle scene that emphasizes strategy and movement and maneuver to take down this Empire force. The finale would end with Darth Maul being ordered to retreat as he's being beamed up to the ship by his superiors. I think Star Wars needs a smaller, self-contained movie that doesn't require the prior use or knowledge of the previous movies or any of its lore in order to gain new audiences and show that this is a fantastic world with lots to offer.
Alright guys, that does it for Ground Rules Episode 2. Remember what we said. Your guys' votes decide which of these movies replace the sequel trilogy. So let us know in the comments which of these movies you prefer and which you'd like to see made live action. Please remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace!